The treasure trove once again. Hope you're doing great. You remember the last time we looked at how to start that $1,000,000 question. How do I start? And we saw how we can start with a flashback. So we can call that part one of how to start. Now we want to look at another way of writing an introduction for us to come up with a captivating composition, descriptive for that matter. And this time, we want to look at how to start using the climax. In other words, what we would call foreshadowing. Now, this calls for some level of art in writing because you pick the climax of your descriptive composition and choose to start with it. When you start with it, you are creating suspense and tension. I said, no writer on this planet, I don't know about other planets, can want to write a composition that people won't want to read. Right? So this suspense is the reason that someone wants to keep reading to find out exactly what it is that is in your further writing. So the climax is supposed to be the climax. In other words, it's the highest peak of your writing. So why should this call for some level of art? Because after starting with it, you are supposed to take your reader back to that very moment later into your writing so that you can continue with it up to the end. You don't just start with the climax and let it remain there. So the moment you choose to start with the climax, mark my words, sometime later, where your climax should have been, you're supposed to take your reader back so you can drive them to the end for them to know how it ended. Now, like I said, I don't have a BB. This time you see my background. So I'll have to read something original that I've come up with so we can share. This composition of mine is called Eaten Alive. Someone would say, Eaten Alive. I said my 31st prayer in an interval of 4 seconds. Was this virtual reality? Could it be a daydream? How had I reached here? Where was everyone? Quit the reverie and gather your survival guts. My conscience cancelled. I got on my feet and started to forge a way out of the ditch. Slowly, I leaped, holding onto the plants that crept their way out of the ditch. I pulled twice to ensure that they were firm enough to support me. Like a drowning man holding onto a straw, I entrusted my 80 kilograms to these poor plants. By my scanty mathematics, I had hardly climbed 1 foot when I heard a deafening roar that sent me sprawling back to square one. Of course, the reader at that moment will be wondering, what is happening? How come this person is in the ditch? So your next paragraph is not going to continue telling us about the ditch thing, but will take us to the start of everything so we can drive the reader up to the start of the composition so that we can complete it. You've watched such movies that start when something is running after the character, and at a moment when you want to see that something, it takes you back to the start. And this is the same this time in a written way. So, like I said earlier, this is original. Don't copy, just use it to guide you to write something better than this. as a foreshadow or a climax, a start for your wonderful composition. Can't wait to see yours. Please share if you feel like. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Love you.